This is Kiki. Welcome to lesson 5 of speaking and speech. Hi! Alright, today let's review previous lessons, some of the things we talked about. Hands. Can you remember some of the hand gestures? We talked a lot about hands. Can you remember what we said? Where should you put your hands? Where shouldn't you put your hands? What should you be doing with your hands when you're public speaking? All right. Hopefully you answered easily that there's a certain zone right in front of your body where your hands should be acting, helping you. Something is small, something is big, but your hands shouldn't be out in the world, and they shouldn't be moving quickly, and you shouldn't point. All right. So those were some things that we talked about in the previous lesson. Before I go on to smiling and eye contact, I did want to go over the reading quickly. There were 20 hand gestures you should be using. Actually, I didn't think all of the 20 were that well presented. They may be well thought out, they may be good ideas, but all of them were not presented equally. So let's talk a little bit about this. First thing was how to speak with your hands. The smoother, the better. Moving your hands too much like a robot means you probably practiced the gestures. You probably were interested in using that tool, but it doesn't seem natural enough. I strongly suggest you do the practice videos, giving opinions. Try to use your hands the way we're talking about while you're making your videos. Using the tool so that when you need the tool, it feels very natural to use. They also say film yourself. And the last one is to be careful cross-culturally. In Korea, when you call someone over, this is the hand gesture that you're doing. If you do the American hand gesture, hey, come here, then it's insulting because this is the way you talk to a dog. In America, this means go away. Different hand gestures in different countries. They talk about listen up, calling attention. It's a very strong gesture, giving your speech a kind of movement that helps the listener keep track of what's happening. Remember, people are listening to you, their attention is sometimes there, sometimes not there, and they're only human. Using your hands brings their attention visually, brings their attention back to what you're saying. So big gestures are sometimes helpful to change the feeling. Strong gestures should be used thoughtfully, yeah? Otherwise they lose their power, right? So don't use it 10 times in one public speech. Just use it once every couple of speeches. Let me tell you, this is as long as you're doing it to the side, I think it's okay. Stop. I don't think you should use that one. Great. One more tool in your toolbox, your hands. Hands. Another tool in your toolbox are your eyes. That's right. Today we're talking about eye contact. I'm going to give you some reasons eye contact is important. Most articles say the same thing. Eye contact is important because, one, it focuses your attention. When you're just staring out into space, you tend to trail off and become monotone. You start thinking about other things. But when you're maintaining eye contact, is good for you because it keeps your attention focused. That's one. Another is it helps others people pay attention to you. If you're watching somebody, your mind tends to wander off because it's not your subject, And you've got your personal life, you got your kids to think about. Suddenly the person is paying attention to you, then, oh yeah, I'm paying attention. So it helps them pay attention to you. Eye contact has authority. Making eye contact doesn't mean you are the most knowledgeable person about this, but you obviously have confidence in what you're saying because you're looking me directly in the eyes and giving me this information. If you're looking at your paper and you're maybe not so sure about your information, I can tell because you're not going to be making eye contact. Making eye contact means you're confident about what you're saying. Keeping eye contact also is a sign of confidence. There's something a little bit aggressive about eye contact. Before a fight, people tend to maintain eye contact for too long. Too short, I'm not confident. Right amount of time. Remember, in an audience, there are a lot of people, a lot of faces. Each one of them, you give 15, 20 seconds, and you move to the next one. If you just stare at one person the whole time, that person might start feeling uncomfortable. If you're staring at the boss, everybody else in the room will stop listening to you. You're not talking to them, you're just talking to the boss. So just consider what you want and what you need. If you are making contact with everybody in the room, they feel like they're part of the conversation. Because remember, presentation is me speaking to you, and you don't necessarily have a chance to respond. So the eye contact is me inviting you to participate in a passive way. And making eye contact with people will make you speak slower. When you are publicly speaking, you may get a little nervous, you may talk a little faster. Making eye contact with people will help remind you somebody's listening to this. I can't just speak as quickly as possible and just get this over with. I need the other people to hear and understand me. Making eye contact with different people in the room will keep you from picking up the pace and moving too quickly. So that is eye contact. Next is smiling.